Hi everyone, my name is Aashima Kataria, and as Nareen just mentioned, I'm working as an Intermediate Business Analyst with JDI IT. That's a brief introduction about me. I come from New Delhi, India. I am about to complete my 2 years in Canada next month. I have my undergrad in economics and a post-graduation in marketing leadership management, and I did my second postgrad in business analytics from Cape Breton University in Nova Scotia. Uh, for my experience, I'm not a student, though I appear to be because I've just graduated. Um, I worked with American Express for the financial arm of American Express, which is Ameriprise Financial, Max Life Insurance, and Primerica Life Insurance back in India in the capacity of a senior manager, which kind of encompasses the role of a business analyst as well as a project manager. Currently, I'm working with JDI IT. Sorry for that. That's not a business. I worked with them for a year as a business analyst intern, but right now I'm an intermediate business analyst with them. I just joined them like full-time 2 weeks back. Okay, so to just understand what exactly does a business analyst do, business analyst is basically the bridge between the customer team, which is your clients. Since you're working in IT, you have business as your clients, and the technology team. So technology team, again, as our friend just mentioned, it's too technical, and the customer team is not that technical. So the business analyst bridges the gap between the two, wherein they try to decipher what the technical team wants to do and what are the needs that are coming out of this customer that should be plugged together. So as you see, the customer comes up with the business needs, and the technology team tells them the detailed requirements of all the technical steps that are involved. They propose a solution, and the business analyst then takes it back to the customer team and they validate the solution. These are the high-level functions that a business analyst performs. That's, again, a very high-level idea of what all is entailed in a business analyst professional. You have to apply data-driven decision-making. Then you have to communicate findings. So communication is one of the major roles that you need to be very clear about when you are doing the role of a business analyst, since you are the bridge between the two parties. Then you have to oversee the implementation of these findings. So everything that happens in a part of a project is coming under your purview. So you are basically the contact point for every major team, and you kind of plug that gap and plug the understanding gap between the two teams. Then you conduct training for the non-technical team members, which is how you translate the requirements from completely tech role to somebody who doesn't understand tech that much. Then the performance analysis is also a part of the job. Apart from that, you engage with analysis of different processes, and you also optimize the performance of a given segment. So sometimes a project needs that particular segment in an organization is not performing up to its level. So you kind of come up with projects that plug that gap. And data collection is also one of the jobs that we do. Now, what is the mindset that's required when it comes to becoming a business analyst? So there are these major requirements, and this is just a mindset which each of you can develop. The first is you need to have the focus on the business. Though you come from the IT world, but it's very important that you understand the needs of your business, because that's what is going to drive your role forward. Then there are multiple problems that every business has, and as an IT professional in the IT world, you want to fix them, but it's very important to recognize the right problem. You cannot be just solving any problem that they come up with. You need to know what's the right problem and what's the one that you can solve. Third is you've got to question everything. Like, that was one thing that I've been taught. Whatever is coming to you, don't just accept it, question it. Because for a business analyst, it's very important to understand the why. You know how to get it done, but first is the information that you really need to understand what needs to get done, and the requirement gathering comes after that. So fourth is lead and facilitate. So you are basically a leader and one point of contact for your business. So it's like you come from an IT company, but you are the sole representative to your business for any IT needs. So that's where the lead and facilitate comes as a part of the project, as well as it becomes part of your role. Next is, as I said, there has to be analysis before synthesis, which is information before the requirements. Then you also have to understand, so a lot of times what happens when you go to the business, they don't tell you the requirements in technical terms. They just tell you, okay, this is one issue that I'm facing. This given thing is broken for me. Can you fix this? So it's your job to understand the real gap there. like which integration is missing, what's really not working for them, what's the way to, cover it up and just make it working. So you have to actually go even a step further, not just understand the problem which appears to be at the surface, you need to go deep down. The next is simplify until nothing can be removed. So one of the major jobs is, again, because you're dealing with a technical world and a non-technical world, you really need to simplify things for both the worlds, like one world, the customer world. The next is taking responsibility for shared understanding of business requirements. So business requirement gathering is one of the major responsibilities of a business analyst, and it's really important that you collect them in a way that both the parties understand it. Accepting and embracing business change. So whenever there's a project, there's more than less always a big change that comes to be a part of that project. So business analyst is also called as a change agent, because they kind of make sure that all the change that's happening or is about to happen with the business, they are all able to manage that together, because it's overwhelming in a lot of cases for a lot of people. uh, being a part of the solution. Now, though you represent IT, you gotta be very clear that you're also a part of the business. They should have that reliability on you, and they know that, okay, you will be there no matter what happens and if things go wrong. That's the kind of relationship you need to foster as a business analyst with your business. Expect human behavior from human beings. Yes, there are people everywhere, and people have their own issues and problems, and you gotta be tackling all of them. And learn, adapt, and thrive. That's true for any role. This is, again, like, this is the high level mission. You identify needs because you are kind of the IT doctor for your business. Then you bridge those gaps, you engage all the stakeholders and understand the problem and tell them the impact of the solution. Then you deliver. That's the solution delivery that you have to make sure happens, and then advocate it. Okay. So this is a high level process framework for business analysis. It kind of starts with first getting oriented, then discovering what are the primary business objectives. So being a business analyst, you need to kind of make sure that you understand how the business functions, how it operates. That's kind of, the underlying basic requirement for you to be able to implement a solution with your business. So that's where you discover the primary business objectives. Next is you have to define the scope of the project or the problem, whatever you're trying to solve. And that generally happens in the project charter for a project, and a scope statement for as per the business analysis process framework. The next is you formulate a BA plan, and you define detailed requirements. As a part of that, you support the technical implementation, whatever solution is being implemented, and you then help the business to implement the solution and even adapt to it. And then the later part comes that you have to now understand what is the value that this new solution has created for the business, and it's important to communicate that too and make sure that it's delivering the value that it promised in the beginning. Now, talking about the professional certification for a business analyst, we have this institute called as the International Institute of Business Analysis, and it kind of is a professional association that is dedicated to supporting the business analysis professionals to deliver better solutions. And as per the IIBA, this is the high-level areas that a business analyst should cover, starting from business analysis, planning and monitoring, then it's elicitation and collaboration, requirement lifecycle management, strategy analysis, requirements analysis and design definition, and solutions evaluation. So these are the 6 areas that you really need to be a master at when you are doing a certification as a business analyst, and you have to apply it in your job day in and day out. And to just define what business analysis is, it's a practice of enabling change in an organizational context by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to the stakeholders. And as we all know, in project management, we've got this certification called PMP. In the world of business analyst, that certification is given by IIBA, and it's called, I have it in the next slide, and the book that you use for it is the Business Analysis Body of Knowledge, which is BABOK. Now, this is the different kinds of certifications that can get you started in the world of a business analyst. The first is ECBA, which is Entry Certificate in Business Analysis. Individuals who are aspiring to enter the BA field, they are the ones they can pursue that, which is, again, the basic certification. Level 2 is people who have 2 to 3 years of BA experience, and that's called Certification of Capability in Business Analysis. And level 3 is when you have over 5 years of experience, and there's a lot of criteria that you need to qualify to be certified business analysis professional. And there's an exam to be taken at the end of each of these. Okay, so this is to just give you an understanding of the different kind of analysis methods and techniques that are involved in the role of a business analyst. So there are a lot of different kind of analysis like SWOT, system, PESTLE, mind, process, and most analysis. So these are all different techniques. They are like a whole different slide in itself, but I haven't really covered them all in detail because I'm just trying to give you an overview of what are the different techniques that business analyst uses. Now, to apply all of these different techniques, there are different methodologies that you can use. One can be workshops or document reviews, and creating a scenario which is as is and to be. So you're currently in situation A, you want to go to situation 3. So how do you do that? Then there is strategy analysis, journey maps, and data flow diagrams and interviews. So these are the different techniques that you use to conduct these analysis. As I mentioned, that a lot of times the business analyst is also called as the change leader. This is one of the frameworks given by ProSci, which is very, very relevant in the world of a business analyst. So depending on the size of the project, of how big it is, either you have a change manager deployed to the project if it's a big change. For example, implementation of an ERP solution is a big change, which means that you will have a change manager assigned to the project. In other cases, the business analyst's job is also to make this change possible and as smooth as as with the implementation. So it's called the ADKAR approach. The first ADK is the enablement zone, and A and R towards the end is the engagement zone. A stands for awareness, creating the awareness that this is the change that's about to come. Then understanding how do people react to this change, to understand the desire, which is D. Then creating the right knowledge. We have to provide them the right kind of training and ensure that whatever change is about to happen and whatever their expectations are, they are kind of plugged together with the knowledge which is being provided to them. The next is the ability, which is you have to kind of create the sandbox environment and get this change contained in a contained way as much as possible. All the UAT testing and everything happens at this stage. And then is the reinforcement, which is the final outcome, the desired outcome of the project. So these are the few basic understandings of what a business analyst does as a part of business analysis and what exactly is business analytics. So if you see, these both kind of pave the way for enabling positive change in an organization, but business analysis is the job of a business analyst, which kind of covers on all the processes, techniques, and functions. It helps to solve the problems, and it's more of a process-oriented thing which is covered in business analysis, whereas business analytics is a subject which comes as a part of the business analyst's job, where you focus on the data and statistical analysis. You predict future states, and you do predictive modeling. Some of the tasks in business analysis are performed by data scientists, data analysts, and you do require things like mathematics and software programming to be able to do a successful business analytics. So again, so back in India, when I was working in organizations, there was a very thin line between the role of a business analyst and a project manager. But in here, there's a very clear bifurcation of the roles. So the reason that I kind of wanted to share this slide is because I had this question when I started working here, that why are these two roles different? Because back in India, I was working as both as a part of the project. So a business analyst, the job of this person is to understand the strategic goals, to understand the business, to understand the what and the why of the project. And it has to kind of revolve around what the company and the business needs from you and what is the outcome that they desire from you. Whereas a project manager is more of a project oriented person, and he solves the how part of the project. And his project success comes from goal, budget, timeline, and stuff like that. And as per what I've understood, project manager has more of a horizontal growth in his career, which is, covering as many different plethora of projects that they can add to their profile, whereas the business analyst has more of a vertical growth, which can lead to, to further manage senior management roles in the organization. This is again an understanding of the different things you do as a business analyst, the different business intelligence, predictive modeling, data mining, all these subjects that form a part of business analytics are something that a business analyst should know, whereas project management is completely different and focuses on the project aspects like scheduling, resources, budget, portfolio, estimation, etc. Okay, so a very brief understanding of one of the recent projects that I did with JDIIT. So my client is Universal Truck and Trailers, which is Atlantic Canada's fourth largest dealership in trucks and trailers. They had a very old ERP solution called CDK Global, which was pretty outdated. And as per the percentage of the requirements that it was covering, when we kind of measured it, it was almost 50%. And in the gap analysis that was done in the beginning of the project to identify the real issues, there were around 111 gaps that were identified. Now, what were the major issues with CDK? They were lacking with vendor training and support. The application used to get stuck just while working in between, so it had poor application response times. It was pretty unstable, and there was no improvements or upgradations in the software. And a lot of things were customized as per whoever was using the application, which is not a standard solution. So that's when there was an internal analysis already done, and this project was a part of my student internship, and this was the vendor that was chosen for them, Proceed Software. It was a preferred vendor, and it has an advanced dealer management solution. It's called Exceed DMS, like Exceed Dealer Management System. And yes, it helped to simplify processes and increase productivity. It has a superior vendor training and support, and it's widely known in the industry for that. It has a very highly responsive application with real-time access to data. So it kind of plugged 95% of the gaps. Now, to just help you understand that a real-life project looks something like that, and these are all the touch points that, along with the project manager, as a business analyst, you're expected to perform. So the vendor was already finalized. So when the project charter gets formalized in a project, that's when a lot of inputs is required from a business analyst, because you know more about the business than the project manager. Then there are different touch points like the statement of work, stage gates, business requirement document, requirement gathering, and then there's whole work done by Azure ADO, wherein you do the user stories, mapping, test cases authoring, testing, issue and bug testing, and resolution. And then one of the major areas of your job is also to do the high-level process documentation. So being a business analyst, one of the things that you need to really do is document the right processes and put them together in a way which everybody can refer to, and they become pretty standard. And the last is obviously monitoring, control, and continuous improvement, which is the phase that we are currently in as a part of this project. And that's about it.